Damien wasn't really interested in trying to recreate, trying to redefine any new camera moves. It was like he wanted to update what people had seen from the 60s and 70s. So like we spent a lot of time in pre-production trying to work out how exactly we would do this. And we came up with the idea of the LED screen. We came up with the idea of using miniatures and special effects and obviously using CG because like we were going to the moon. So like we would have to be using CG. So like we spent 3 months actually talking about this and like we did various tests and like the idea was that depending on the type of shot is like how we would define what type of approach we would use to like try and keep the effect to be as realistic as possible.
Yeah, when I first met with Damien, I read the script and it felt very much like a document that we were trying to create of this event. So I drew some storyboards out thinking, well, if we were really going to shoot this in space, we'd only be able to put the camera on the spaceship or through a window. We'd never be able to put the camera someplace you couldn't actually do it if you were not in space. And when Damien met with me, he said, you know, I want this to feel like a documentary, and I want to make sure that we don't put a camera anywhere where we wouldn't be able to do it for real. So we were really in sync on that, trying to recreate in a cinematic way the same sort of footage that we're familiar with growing up.
So we're going to go to 90, because you're right there, and then we'll go to 176. You have to leave that number up.
Carolyn Jardina from The Hollywood Reporter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, Carolyn.
Paul, this question's for you. Last year you were here for Blade Runner. How does it feel 2 consecutive years?
Oh my goodness, this is so surreal. So my 15 minutes of fame seems to be carried on for like another 15 minutes. I'm back with Denis for June. So yeah. So like, this is like a fantastic occasion in that like we've been honoured with like the actual process in which like we talked about endlessly as to how we would do this, and the fact that like we've been honoured by the Academy is truly magnificent.
We're going over to 176 and then 44.
Tristan Myles from CBC News. I got a note from Deborah who says the cat is fine. And tell Canada about your role in the film and perhaps the team in Vancouver.
So I was the DFX supervisor on this show, primarily responsible for getting the content onto the LED screens that we had on the soundstage.
And working 24 hours a day.
Occasionally working 24 hours a day. So getting that stuff ready for when they're shooting so they can get everything in camera. And then after that, carrying on for the post-process, making the quarry look like the moon and all that kind of stuff.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going here to 44, which will wrap it up.
Congratulations. It's Jasmine Wards Daily. Is there a process that you used that was unique to the film, something that hasn't been used before, technology-wise?
Well, the fact that we used an LED screen to actually render our CG content, because like we actually rendered a lot of CG content. Like we actually, Tristan and his team made 90 minutes worth of content, which like we put on the screen, which J.D. oversaw to be able to sync to the gimbal. You know, it was a true collaboration, and the fact that like we were able to put the computer-generated imagery on the screen and actually shoot it through the camera gave it like a instant filmic look, you know. And there were like a number of shots which like we didn't touch in post, but like we actually kept in camera. And I believe that like that whole process, that whole different mindset of like actually working is something which I want to carry on, and I believe all the guys want to carry on, in that like it does change the way in which we do our work. You know, it doesn't have to be green screen, it doesn't have to be blue screen, it can be something far more realistic.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you all very much.